Deploying AI to customers without this kills trust instantly. I'm not talking about the technology failing. I'm talking about the governance behind it. And most businesses deploying customer-facing agents right now are getting this completely wrong. I'm Dan Pereira. This is the AI Agent Playbook, and today we are talking about customer-facing agents, what they actually are, how to deploy them responsibly, and why the businesses doing this right are pulling ahead of every competitor still rely on manual customer handling. Let me start with what a customer-facing agent actually is, because there's a lot of confusion in the market right now. It's not a chatbot. Chatbot reads from a fixed script and fails the moment a customer asks something outside of it. A customer-facing agent is trained on your specific business, your products, your pricing, your policies, your voice, your processes, and it responds dynamically, handles complexity, qualifies leads, books appointments, and escalates intelligently when it needs to. The difference in customer experience between those two things is night and day. One frustrates your customers, the other builds trust and drives revenue. Now, here are the three things that you must get right before you deploy. These are non-negotiable. First, transparency. Your customers need to know they are talking to an AI from the very first message, not buried in fine print. Right up front, something like, "Hi, I am an AI assistant for your company. I can help you with X, Y, and Z. So if you need a human, I can connect you instantly." That transparency is not a weakness. It's what builds trust. People don't mind talking to AI when it's useful, honest, and fast. What destroys trust is finding out halfway through a conversation that they weren't talking to a human. Second, escalation protocols. Your agent needs to know exactly when to hand off to a human. Complex queries, complaints, high-value opportunities. Emotional customers. Those all need a human. But here's the critical piece. The handoff must carry full context. Your team picks up with everything the agent gathered: the customer's name, their question, their history, what they already tried, a warm handoff, not a cold transfer, where the customer has to start over. That's what separates a good implementation from a frustrating one. Third, data handling. Every single conversation your customer-facing agent has contains sensitive information. Customer names, contact details, purchase history, complaints, intentions. You need clear answers. Where does that data go? Who has access? How long is it retained? Is it encrypted, in transit, and at rest? If you are in healthcare, finance, or legal, you have compliance obligations layered on top of that. This is the governance layer that protects your customers and your business simultaneously. Now, let me give you a real example of what this looks like when it's built right. We work with a professional services firm handling roughly 40 inbound inquiries every single day across phone, email, and their website. Their team was spending 60% of their day just filtering those inquiries, answering the same 15 questions repeatedly, and manually booking appointments. They were reactive, stretched thin, and missing leads after hours without even knowing it. We built a customer-facing agent with three things built in from day one. Full transparency protocols, so every customer knew immediately they were talking to an AI. Smart decision triggers, so complex or high-value inquiries went straight to a human with full context attached. And encrypted conversation logging with a 90-day retention policy aligned to their compliance requirements. Within 2 weeks, their team recovered 8 hours every single week, but more importantly, qualified lead volume went up 35%. Because the agent was available at 10 p.m. on a Friday when their competitors were completely dark. And it was asking the right discovery questions that their human team was skipping because they were too stretched to do it properly. That's not just efficiency, that's a compounding competitive advantage that gets wider every single week. Here's the real cost of not doing this. Right now, someone is visiting your website at 9 p.m. They have a question, no one's available, they leave and find a competitor who answers them immediately. You never even knew that lead existed. That's not happening occasionally. That's happening every single day in your business. A customer-facing agent eliminates that gap permanently. It's available when your team isn't. It qualifies leads your team would never have had time to handle. And it hands your sales team warm, pre-qualified conversations, not call inquiries where they are starting from zero. The businesses deploying this right now are building separation from their competition every single week. That gap only gets wider. The longer you wait, the more ground you give up. So here's the takeaway. Customer-facing agents are not about replacing your team. They are about making sure your business is never dark, never slow, and never missing a lead because someone wasn't available at the right moment. But you have to deploy them right. Transparency, smart escalation, proper data governance, those three things are what separates a customer-facing agent that builds trust from one that destroys it. Tomorrow, we are talking about finance and invoicing agents automating the back office work that's tying up your team and slowing down your cash flow. That one directly impacts your bottom line, so don't miss it. Book your free consultation at jxtech.ai. Let's map out what responsible customer-facing AI deployment looks like for your specific business.